Back to our top story now then. An Egyptian court has dropped the murder charge against former leader Hosni Mubarak in relation to the deaths of protesters during the Arab Spring rallies that eventually toppled him back in 2011. Now, Cairo-based journalist Belle True has more on the verdicts for us just now. So, hi there, Belle. Can you tell us what exactly has the court ruled?
Well, this is the nightmare that all those revolutionaries who participated in the 2011 uprising have been fearing, that Mubarak might actually walk free in the next few months. So what we're looking at today is basically the acquittal of Hosni Mubarak on graft charges related to the selling of natural gas to Israel for below market prices, which cost the country billions of dollars. So that was the first acquittal. In addition, his infamous Interior Ministry, Habib al-Adli, and 6 of his aides were acquitted for their role in killing of protesters during the 18-day uprising, in which hundreds of youth were killed. And the final and slightly confusing decision made by the judge was that he would not rule on the charges of Hosni Mubarak's role in killing of protesters on a technicality. He said it was inadmissible. Now, we don't have access to the explanation behind the verdict, which is thousands of pages long. So once we've seen that, we'll be able to ascertain exactly why he was able to dodge having to rule on that key charge that these protesters were waiting for to hear about, you know, whether or not Hosni Mubarak was responsible for the deaths of hundreds of young people. So it's a very sad day here for Egypt in the fact that he might walk in a matter of days.
Mm-hmm. And Belle, can you tell us more about the public reaction there then?
Well, I was sitting with a young protester who lost friends during the revolution as the verdict came out, and he wept and could barely speak. He was so sad. But in terms of the country, the situation is still quite calm here, and I think that's because there's a fatigue amongst the population. You know, Hosni Mubarak was ousted in 2011, but we've had another president since then, Mohamed Morsi, who was also toppled by the military-backed government, and there's been several clashes after that. So I think the country is tired of the politics and just wants to move forward. And so Mubarak's case has kind of been buried under, you know, the proceedings that are now being held against, Mohamed Morsi. But, you know, I think there is going to be a reaction in the coming days because Hosni Mubarak, who is in jail at the moment on a separate charge, this jail time is coming up to end very, very soon. He could be out of jail in a matter of months. And I think visually seeing Hosni Mubarak, who was toppled after, you know, nationwide protests, walking free in the streets of Cairo or in his villa in Sharm el-Sheikh is going to greatly upset people. So I expect there to be further protests, particularly with yesterday's violence, where we saw hundreds of people come to the streets in an Islamic uprising against the military-backed government, and they've threatened to have further protests in the coming days. So I think what we're looking at here is Egypt very much on the edge.
Wow, OK, Belle True, thank you for that update.